that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it. The Lions news and rumors. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. We have a lot of stuff going on around the Detroit Lions. And they're really just trying to take stuff from the Detroit Lions. It's the media machine, the national media machine. They just have to. They can't let us have nice things. The first headline that I have, AFC team predicted to poach front office exec from Lions and hire Ben Johnson. So they want to take from our structure and our coaching staff. What's next? I'm going to try to take our quarterback too. So let's see what they're saying about this AFC team, because there's a lot of bad AFC teams. A lot of bad AFC teams. And we're going to face one soon here. And we'll get into the preview of all that on Friday. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do over here on Motor City Cats is when we have a game on Sunday, I'll preview it on Friday. If we have a game on Thursday, like we have back-to-back games on Thursday, you know, we've got the Bears on Thanksgiving, and then the Thursday night game on Amazon Prime. After that week, we have the Packers coming to Ford Field. So what I'll do for those situations is I'll preview those on Wednesday, you know, because why not preview the game the day before it happens and then live stream the game as it's happening and then react to the game the day after it happens. That's what I'll be doing. All right, so let's see what this AFC team it says. It is an article from Sideline Report. Brad Berriman does an excellent job. Please read him if you don't read him already. It says it's not big news based on what he's done the last two hiring cycles, but ESPN's Adam Schefter recently reaffirmed how selective Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson will be when it comes to taking a head coaching job. If he takes a head coaching job, obviously, says he will be sought after. Schefter added, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you've seen this on Get Up already. I think it happened like last week. But here's the team that we're looking at. So the idea of a team poaching a new general manager from the Lions front office and that hire helping them hire Johnson as their next head coach isn't completely out of left field. NFL analyst Chad Forbes has offered a prediction for that to happen. Chad Forbes tweets, in 4 months, crystal ball. Bears hire Cliff Kingsbury. Firing Matt Eberflus. Hiring Cliff Kingsbury. Now, here's the thing. Before I get too far off track, because I said we're going to talk some Bears, we're going to talk some NFC North. My guy. Why would and this would be so Bearsian. This would be such a Bearsian thing to do. But why would you hire a Cliff Kingsbury who failed to hold accountable a Kyler Murray who win a video game, Call of Duty, shout out. Okay. And things have changed. How things have changed. A video game in Call of Duty. When that came out, Kyler Murray's play tanked. It went in the tank. Jonathan Gannon comes in, and since Call of Duty came out, they are 3-0. Since Call of Duty came out, Kyler Murray put away the sticks, or not that he put the sticks away completely, he just ain't playing as much, right? Because Cliff Kingsbury's like, oh, no, that's not a thing. You know, Kyler doesn't play too much. Yes, he does. Okay, so Jonathan Gannon comes up, probably behind closed doors, and like, look, Kyler, bruh, put the sticks down and get into the playbook. Okay, this is the same Cliff Kingsbury who was the head coach of a Kyler Murray. And again, this is a very specific example, and it makes so much sense when you think about the fact that Cliff Kingsbury said that if he got hired as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he would draft, because he was a coach in college, he would draft number 1 overall, the Heisman winning quarterback out of Oklahoma. Does that ring a goddamn bell? A Heisman winning quarterback out of Oklahoma was already drafted number 1 this year. Now, he wasn't attending Oklahoma when he got drafted, right? He came from USC. But he started his career in Oklahoma after Kyler Murray. Okay? After Kyler Murray, because, after Kyler Murray, it was what's his name? Spencer Rattler. And Spencer Rattler came in, and he was. I hated Spencer Rattler from the word go, because if you saw the quarterback show that he was on, I forget what it was called. It was a Netflix show that focused on like high school quarterbacks and everything, and he just thought he was everything. And I get it. In high school, especially, you're the number 1 quarterback in the country or what have you, and then you have Netflix following you around. I get it. I understand it. But, somebody should have coached him up and said, hey, you need to be better on camera. You need to be not such a dick. But no one got to him. So I was rooting against him, as were many people. And then he got drafted in the 5th round. Anyway, so, he couldn't beat out Caleb Williams. Right, so Caleb Williams comes to Oklahoma and steals the spotlight from a Spencer Rattler, not Raxter. Okay, shout out Woodward Heavyweight. Shout out my guy Spencer Raxter. Shout out my guy Easy. I'm sure I'll have him on the show going forward. Now that I got the whole thing, understanding what was happening when I was going live. But again, Cliff Kingsbury drafted Kyler Murray. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was the Heisman winning quarterback coming out of Oklahoma. Now you got another number 1 overall pick, Heisman winner coming out of Oklahoma, and you want to hire Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, this is the most Bears move possible. Because there's a lot of people that don't believe that history repeats itself. And they say, what do they say about history? Those that don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Please, Chicago Bears, hire Cliff Kingsbury. Because another thing that Caleb Williams has in common with Kyler Murray is that he doesn't get it. Okay? He doesn't get it up here. He thinks that the NFL is somehow college. He thinks that somehow he will come in, okay, and just be the guy. It's not the case, Caleb. And I said this, Caleb, and all you Bears fans out there, I hope you see it. Right? I might change one of my tags in the video to hashtag bear down or something, just so this can get into the nostrils of the Chicago Bears fans so they can smell a little bit. Because I told them, I said, Caleb Williams, he in love with hero ball. Because Caleb Williams, he played hero ball at USC. And guess what I did not do? I did not watch Caleb Williams at USC. But you know what I did watch? I watched all those plays. There was a compilation of all of his throws, okay? All of his throws and all of his runs for last season. So technically I did watch him. That was over an hour worth of gameplay, okay? And I did watch that. I watched every single throw from last season. I watched every single run from last season. I watched every single interception from last season. I watched every single fumble from last season. And I said, this dude don't get it. This dude he's got the main character syndrome. He thinks he's the main character. Right? So now when I see him in the preseason and everybody's like, oh, he's got such great pocket presence and look how poised in the pocket he is. It's yellow pudding. When they did all of that, I said, look, Imagine what that's going to look like when he's playing against people that are actually on the team, when he's playing against people who are actually making millions to sack him. Fast forward to last week, my man gave up 9 sacks. Now, obviously, he doesn't have a great offensive line, but some of them sacks were his fault. As an NFL quarterback, you can't hold the ball for 4 seconds running around in the backfield like a chicken with your head cut off. When you got a dump down wide open on 3rd and 2, you can't do that. You can't just take a sack on 3rd and 2 and push yourself out of field goal range. You can't do that, because especially when you lose the game 19-3, you can't do that. And then you get your offensive coordinator fired, because let's be honest, he sucked too. But the Chicago Bears have a Caleb Williams problem. Okay? That's right. Lone Spoon says the Bears are going to bear. Right? The Chicago Bears have a Caleb Williams problem. Now, so please, Bears, make sure you bear. Okay? Make sure you do the bear thing and you get your you get your Cliff Kingsbury back for Caleb Williams. All right, let's move back on to this list. So we had Cliff Kingsbury to the Bears, Bill Belichick to the Cowboys, Ben Johnson to the Jaguars, General Manager Mike Disner. You can't take Mike, okay? Mike is our capologist. We already lost Brandon Sosner, right? He's putting the sauce on it. We already lost him, I think, to the Commanders, right? He was working up underneath Disner. Now you want to take Mike? You can't take Mike. And then Mike goes to the Jaguars and then he takes Ben? You can't take Ben too. Listen, Ben Johnson told you he doesn't want to be in a situation where he's going to get fired in a couple years anyway. The Jacksonville Jaguars have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is not the savior of football as everyone thought he was going to be. Trevor Lawrence is not the best prospect since Andrew Luck, like everyone thought he was going to be. Jaden Daniels is better than Trevor Lawrence. You understand what I'm saying? And Jaden Daniels, this is his first year. He's a rookie. Back to the Bears, Caleb Williams, really, if we want to be honest, looking like maybe the 4th best rookie quarterback in the class right now, with Jaden Daniels being better than him. Bo Nix looking better than him. Drake May just outdueled him face-to-face, head-to-head. So, I mean, what can we say? The only quarterback from this class that Caleb Williams looks better than, watch how I bring this all together. Watch how I bring it all back together. Is Spencer Rattler. Okay? Spencer Rattler couldn't beat him out in Oklahoma, and it don't look like he can beat him out in the pros, even though they play for different teams. So, back to Trevor Lawrence, back to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's funny that we're talking about the Jags because that is going to be our opponent this coming Sunday. I don't like this for Ben Johnson. I don't think that this is a Ben Johnson move. I don't think he moves to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why would you do that? Okay. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. He's expected to be fired after, what is it? This is his 3rd year in Jacksonville? 2nd or 3rd? Because obviously you brought in Urban Meyer, which was dumb. That wasn't a smart move, right? You brought him in. He was a disaster. He was a dumpster fire. Then you brought in Doug Peterson because Doug Peterson was the magic man, right? He worked magic with Nick Foles, and they won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback because, Doug Peterson's the quarterback whisperer. So you bring in the quarterback whisperer to whisper sweet nothings in the ear of fair Trevor Noah, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Trevor Noah. Well, I call him Trevor Noah all the time. And his name is not Trevor Noah. He is not a South African comedian. His name is Trevor Lawrence. Okay? Anyway, that wasn't on purpose. It's a Freudian slip. But you brought him in to whisper sweet nothings into the ear of fair Rapunzel with all that hair, Trevor Lawrence. And you wanted him to let down his hair. Trevor Lawrence is playing like he's got his hair up in a bun. Now, I know that he's got receivers that drop passes and all these things. It's at some point, it's a Trevor Lawrence problem. Okay? At some point, it's a Trevor Lawrence problem. They've gotten him, weapons. They've gone out to try to help him, but it just ain't working. So Ben Johnson, I don't think he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why would you go? Especially, God forbid, that the Detroit Lions don't win the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, we have them all in the Super Bowl, and we hope that they win the Super Bowl. A lot of us are predicting that they win the Super Bowl, but you got to play the games. You got to play the games. Okay? So if you don't win the Super Bowl, and Ben Johnson just gets the itch to leave the Detroit Lions instead of staying like a man of his word and finishing the job, why the hell would he go to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Just because a job is open don't mean it's good. You understand what I'm saying? So you people that don't know anything about Ben Johnson, I'm going to give you a word of advice. Keep Ben Johnson's name out your mouth. Okay? And you, what's your name? Chad Forbes? Keep Mike Disner's name out your mouth. Matter of fact, just keep the Detroit Lions name out your mouth. Unless at some point in February, you are saying things like Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions. Other than that, let's move on. If you came for all the stats and none of the static, if you're trying to keep your Lions news pragmatic, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can get notified when the Motor City Cats are back at it. And plus, you can't get enough of the victory buffs.